Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Never a dull day when it comes to boxing. I love talking about boxing, the guys, the women. It's always something. But there's one person in particular. Every day there's something to talk about her. I try to keep it boxing, but sometimes we got to talk about some other things. But there's a bit of uniqueness to this one. Is that we're talking about 50 Cent, who was a boxing promoter. Learned really quickly that shit's not as easy as what he thinks. Then you got Claressa Shields, the GOAT, seemed to be caught up in some kind of drama. Anyway, Claressa's suing 50 Cent, if you didn't know. At least that's what she says she's going to do. And I don't know how it's going to fare for her. But anyway, she says first this situation started New Year's when 50 Cent decided to disrespect, Papoose and I unprovoked, which led to rap beef and Papoose dissed him. Rather than responding through music like a true artist, he chose to make false claims about me and create a narrative suggesting that I had a sexual relationship with someone I have never been involved with in any capacity. No romantic or sexual contact whatsoever, given his platform and influence with 38.9 million followers. Now legal action is being pursued. I would also like to thank the blogs that shared and circulated the story, as those posts will serve as part of the evidence, along with the statements and captions Curtis Jackson has published himself. Facts are facts. Just because he can't rap don't mean he can start lying on my cat. And then I don't know why she put that. This is why women feel the way they feel about Claressa Shields. She don't have to put all that, the pussy cat and the little water and all that. She don't need to do that. Men attacking women because it's Women's Month, so that's what she puts out there. But this is the thing. You got to understand, man, Claressa Shields, undisputed champion, gold medalist. But for the longest, we haven't seen anybody who's behaved as what you would expect a gold medalist or an undisputed boxing champion to behave, okay? Especially on social media. Now with 50 Cent, we all know what you get with him. He's a master troll, he's a businessman, and social media tactician. You don't want to mess with 50 Cent on social media. Now, when you take those two, and now you have swirling around it, allegations involving a rapper named Maserati Bud, claims, denials, and internet chaos. So the core issue, this isn't just about what was said. It's about reputation and influence. This is where Claressa, with the gold medals and the 19 world titles and the undisputed distinctions and all that stuff, this is where she's going to try to use that to help establish her credibility. But I'm going to tell you right now, just like many of us no longer really see her as this Olympian and this boxing champion, we see her more as someone who's on the internet being a social media tactician just like 50 Cent. A master troll just like 50 Cent. And someone who's trying to become a businesswoman like 50 Cent's a businessman. So she's kind of in the same pot he's in, as far as how a lot of us see it. I don't think she's going to have any more credibility than the average Joe just because she was an Olympian and she's a boxing champion, because she hasn't really conducted herself in a respectful manner. That's how most of us see it. You know what I'm saying? Some would disagree, but that's just how most of us see it. So the core issue here, again, I think is really reputation and influence. I think she's fighting to protect, what little image she has. I think it's mostly her relationship. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it's mostly her relationship. And the whole thing about her legacy as an Olympian, I mean, it's too late for that. Like, the legacy as an Olympian has already been trashed, in my opinion. It's just been nonstop drama. The Olympian shit, the ship sailed on that. Yeah, she went there, she did that, she earned the 2 gold medals. Okay. But no one cares about that anymore. No one even cares. Because there's always some kind of drama. Now, when it comes to 50 Cent, he thrives in controversy. He wins in chaos. I don't see how this helps Claressa Shields at all. I think it's all bad for her. Unless her and 50 Cent and unless they were all in this together and saying, yo, let's create some real drama on the internet. And let's take this up a notch to really go viral and keep all eyes on us. Now, I'll tell you what, if they did that, then genius. And that means they have super thick skin, and that just means they're thirsty and desperate. But I can't see that happening. But you just never know. But the lawsuit angle to me is risky for Claressa. If she's serious about suing 50 Cent for defamation, here's the harsh reality. Defamation cases don't just expose the accused, they expose you too. And this is what I'm talking about. Claressa just have the blinders on and seem to be going one direction. It could be papoose pap there in the background that's like, yo, we can get this money. So they may be looking at 50 Cent as a meal ticket. But all I'm saying is, you go after 50 Cent and you just one-track minded thinking we're going to get to the end of that rainbow, to that pot of gold. You may realize that journey ain't what you thought it was going to be, because your ass going to get exposed big time. So you better be careful. Your personal history can be examined. Relationships can be scrutinized. Private conversation can surface. So unless Claressa Shields has a clean slate, she better stop and think twice about going after 50 Cent. Because any conversation she may have had with different men while she was with Papoose, especially sexual, it's going to surface. If there are any images of her, especially of her pussy cat and all that shit she likes to talk about on social media, it's going to surface. If there's any video of her being intimate with the man or even hugging, just sitting back on anything in a one-on-one, where Papoose ain't involved, where it looks like there's more than just friends, all that's going to surface. And personal history is going to be examined. You know what I'm saying? And that's the danger. 50 Cent's known for digging up receipts. You know, that guy, 50 Cent, man, I get money. I whip your head, boy. Use a window shopper. Yeah, you windows, you ain't going to be over here, man, trying to go and become and do some real shopping based off of my ass. You ain't getting no money out of me. That man's known for digging up receipts, tuning narratives in his favor, playing the long game. He's not the type to take a loss quietly. Even if Claressa wins legally, she could lose publicly, lose emotionally, lose control of her narrative. Because you better believe 50 going down swinging. And to be honest with you, Claressa and her image and everything will be decimated messing with 50 Cent. Leave him alone, especially if you know you have some dirty laundry out there. You got some skeletons in the closet. Because trust me, that shit's going to come out. Especially when 50 is like, oh man, look like she really going to sue me? I did say some of these things. Yeah, headache I don't want. But you know what? I'm going to spend my money. People who may have something, I'm going to get something on her. And I'll be honest with y'all. I think there's something out there. I think 50 Cent, I think there's something out there. 50 Cent too smart. He's not just, a billionaire like him not just going to come out here and throw shit to the wind. I don't see that. It doesn't make sense for someone in his position to come out here and just say something without having some proof. Even he knows that's not a smart move. Doors can close on him in Hollywood. Doors can close on him across the board, especially when it comes out that he came out here and lied on a female. Especially if he has nothing else. It's gonna make him look bad. You know what I mean? It could make him look bad. And finally the bully got bullied back. And you know how social media is. Everybody could turn on 50. Them 38 point something million followers he has, that shit could get decimated. Depending on how it all plays out. But at the end of the day, it looks to me like 95% of people are rooting for 50 to continue embarrassing Claressa Shields and for her to lose and eventually shut up. But that's all I'm saying, man. 50's not the kind to take no damn loss quietly. You know what I'm saying? She gonna lose control of her narrative messing with that dude. And I listened to some of the fans. They're like, yo, why not sue everybody? That's one of the big sentiments online. Why go after 50 and not the source? Fans are pointing to Maserati butt as the one allegedly making claims. So the question becomes, why not go after everyone involved? So that creates skepticism like, is this selective accountability? Is this about visibility more than justice? You going after 50 Cent with the 38 point something million followers? You ain't worried about the small fish. You going for the shark. You going after the whale. You going after the one that can get you more visibility. You ain't worried about justice. This is all bullshit. That's how some people see it. But I see it like this. Going at 50 Cent is the problem. You know, it's different going at him than going at a regular person. He's got money. He's got media reach. He has cultural influence. And most importantly, he understands public welfare. And he understands public warfare. He knows when it comes to the public and the welfare of the public, man, that he has to make sure he's not doing anything to damage them. But he also understands with public warfare how to set traps. Look, 50 historically doesn't back down. He doesn't apologize easily. And he escalates situations for leverage, especially when he knows that he's right or he has proof. And this is why. This is all bad for Claressa. 50 did escalate the situation. But by him escalating it, he normally does that for leverage. So the real concern is if this turns into a back and forth, more stories could come out. Not good for Claressa Shields. It could be a Me Too thing. Then you have all these guys. Last thing you need is for women to come out. Or a midget. You don't need any of that bullshit going on. You don't need any more speculation. No more damage done. Whether true or not, it doesn't matter. You just don't want that stuff to come out. So it makes me wonder who is working with Claressa Shields. Like, pick and choose your battles, you know what I'm saying? This shit 50 Cent Maserati bud. If she just sat there like, bud, they can say what they want, they full of shit, and left it alone, people will eventually shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because most people don't know. They're like, yo, these allegations could be false. It just seems like, really, most people to me just saw the shit as entertainment. The content creators are going to do what they're going to do. They need clicks to survive. Without that, they're not even eating bread and water. They got nothing, they die. You know what I'm saying? They channels, everything they doing is fucking die off. So she giving people the content. But I'll tell you what, if them allegations are false, if 50 Cent was spreading false claims and stirring the pot to get people to think that Claressa was out here pitching woo behind Papoose' back, that shit's wrong. Period. You know what I'm saying? I know she's an easy target. She makes herself an easy target, but that doesn't mean it's right. You know what I'm saying? Even I could come out here and know when to call bullshit on people. You can't just decide that you want to lie on Claressa Shields. Like that shit's not cool. To suggest intimacy, referencing past encounters, like claims tied to 2006. Like, I was shocked when she said that 50 Cent said that he had sex with her. I was like, what? I'm in 2006, 2008. Yeah, 2006, I was in Korea. So I had no idea what was going on in the world because I was so busy with work and college and boxing. Yeah, I was in Korea. All I did was work, gym, school, and women. That's all I did. So when she said that shit on Way Up with Ye, I was like, what? So I never heard that shit. But then also for 50, this implying behaviors that affects her relationships. I mean, all of this crosses into serious territory, suggesting intimacy, referencing past encounters, like the claims past the tied to 2006, especially that one where she said he said he had sex with her, and then implying behavior that affects her relationship. Look, Claressa would be justified in defending her name and taking legal action, but this is the image problem for Claressa. Here's where things get tricky. Claressa's brand, what brand she does have, they're trying to build it on discipline, greatness, being one of the best female fighters ever, and an example to women. That's what they're trying to build it on, right? But the bottom line is, most of us don't feel like they've done a good job at that. But lately, headlines feel more like, when it comes to Claressa Shields, it's nonstop drama, social media clashes, personal life controversy. Always something going on. So all this discipline, greatness, an example, a role model to women and young girls, that shit's out the window, man. Been out the window for a long time. Claressa Shields' brand is drama. Her brand is social media clashes. Her brand is personal life controversy. You know what I'm saying? That's her brand. And that ain't gonna get her close to anything. So messing around 50 Cent shit can backfire. Now fans are saying she's always trending but not for boxing. That's true. Nobody even really talks about that shit anymore. And that's dangerous because it distracts from her achievements and it muddies her legacy. That's what has happened. Now when you think about the Papoose factor. Her relationship with Papoose adds another layer. Why? Because you guys know public perception of loyalty matters. You know what I'm saying? And this takes you back where I've heard people saying, now remember, Claressa Shields is like, no, they're lying on me. But there are, the ladies, even some men, I'm seeing men talking, but the ladies are out here, they're like, yo, she was out here going after the married man. You know what I'm saying? And you have her friends and family members who have come out and said all these horrible things about her. And they just feel like they believe that she may have been out here doing something behind Pat's back because they feel there's a pattern of behavior with her and just, needing validation from men and liking attention from men. And that's what the ladies are saying. But I'll say this, right? I don't know what the hell is happening here. But for her as a boxing champion and her as a woman, the rumors hit harder when a relationship's visible. But all I'm saying is that if you know there's some truth to something, be quiet. Look at Floyd Mayweather when he went to jail. He knew there was more to the story. But he said, you know what? I'm going to just roll with it. Was Floyd guilty of some stuff? Look, the bottom line, you can't put your hand on somebody, but if people are trying to destroy your property and do things, I mean, it's hard to sit back and just let somebody do that and you just call the cops, say, hey, person just broke the window out my car, broke my $500,000 chain, just did this, did that. I don't think I could sit back and let somebody do that while I call the cops. I'm in there. I got to be honest with you. I'm in there. I'm not saying it could be no Ike Turner shit. Bitch! I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I sure as fuck would be in there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, good luck to her. I just feel she definitely doesn't want to be embarrassed and lose Papoose Pap. But if there's some shit out there on her, it's gonna come out. 50 Cent is gonna get it and it's gonna come out. Because anything that comes out that suggests infidelity, it contradicts her image. Anything contradicts her image, it's gonna, what little credibility she has of people is gonna be decimated, damaged, gone. Fans who support is gonna shift big time. And it's gonna turn this into a personal narrative instead of a boxing one. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, I hope there's nothing out there. I hope there's nothing out there. Because the last thing she needs is for 50 Cent to tap into something and acquire some receipts that he can share with the public to prove she was with another man while with Papoose. That's the last thing she wants to have happen to her. I'm telling you, it's going to be all bad. You think it's bad now, just how social media is with her. It'll be all bad, man. But some say, you know what, man, y'all looking too deep into it. This is just a viral play. Everybody may be in on it for attention. 50, Pap, Claressa, because controversy equals clicks, drama equals engagement, and if done right, it could equal big money for people. But if it's not staged, then this is dangerous real-life escalation. You know what I'm saying? Shit could be a lose-lose for Claressa Shields. No matter how it plays out. If she doesn't sue, people say she's backing down. If she does sue, everything gets exposed, the situation gets bigger. If she keeps responding publicly, the story stays alive. So the brutal truth, even a win could feel like a loss. Because reputation damage doesn't disappear with a court ruling. Lives forever online. So for the rest of her life, this drama will always be something that gets discussed. It's not going anywhere. So the big warning, if you're 100% clean, Claressa Shields, I think she should fight it strategically. You know what I'm saying? Be strategic and fight it. But if there are any skeletons in that closet, silence is power. Shut up now. Because you going at someone like 50 Cent can turn into a war you didn't mean to start with consequences you can't control. And I'm telling you, 50 Cent's not going to sit here, man, and allow Claressa Shields to win. He's not going to allow her to win, people. But we'll see what happens. Claressa Shields, one of the greatest to ever do it, put on a pair of boxing gloves. True. We all agree on that. But all the drama she's been involved in, all this shit, and this situation right here, it's not a boxing match, right? This is a reputation war. And against someone like 50 Cent, you know, you don't need to be just right. Like, it's not even about being right when you mess with 50 Cent. You need to be untouchable. Because she could be right. She never had a relationship with Maserati Bud. But what if you had something going on with somebody else? Because 50 Cent is going to find out. That means you can be touched. You need to be untouchable. Mean nothing. There's nothing out there. You're 100% clean. If you're 100% clean, go at him. If not, shut up. I'm just being real. Even I had to learn that shit back in the day. Sometimes you just shut up. So hopefully she's untouchable, because if she has some shit out there, some skeletons out there, she's gonna get touched, and it's going to make her look worse. And I don't know what's gonna happen with her relationship, but I tell you what, she just doesn't want that. It's all gonna end badly. I think just leave the shit alone. Social media is gonna be social media. Leave it alone. Nobody worry about you talking about lying on my cat, lying on my pussycat, and nobody. Come on now. People don't need to hear all that. Anyway, 50 Cent ain't playing around. Claressa don't seem to be playing either. I'm trying to diffuse it in the breeze.